My name is Enric. I'm CMO for Lab Cave Games. For the next 20 minutes or so, I would like to teach you a bit more about App Store optimization. We will cover a few case studies. We will cover as well a few bullet points or strategies you can follow with your own titles. So hopefully you can just improve your existing visibility or viewability on both App Store and Google Play. That's the results that we achieved since we began back in 2013. As you can see, pretty good results so far. We released over 300 titles and achieved over 200 million organic downloads. This is mostly through organic traffic and ASO, App Store optimization. UA to us is a really small percentage. So again, today I would like to teach you a few more insights on what we do and how perhaps you can apply some of these findings on your titles. So a bit more about ourselves. Feel free to follow me on Twitter if you'd like to get a few more insights about mobile things and whatnot. That's my email address. As well, we have a booth downstairs. So if we don't have time afterwards, you want to come by, happy to discuss further about ASO or just gaming in general. So to start with, what does ASO mean? As I said before, ASO stands for App Store Optimization. Basically, it's a process of getting as many users as possible by two different things. First one is improving the app visibility. That is how likely it is for someone to find your app on the App Store or Google Play. That is, someone opens the App Store, they search for specific keywords, or maybe they go in a featured area and so on. That's how they perform this organically. The second option, or the second bit, is optimizing the conversion rate. That is how likely it is for someone, once they are on your app page, to click or to tap on the download button. As you will guess, on that second part, that has a lot to do on icons, on how your screen looks like, how your description it is, and so on. We will discuss a few more of these details and a few more slides later on. Just to start planning an idea to you guys right away, you will notice here on iOS and Google Play, there are a few differences. We will discuss these afterwards. But what I want to get you guys to understand is that what works on Google Play doesn't work on iOS and the other way around. We will cover a few of these differences in a few more slides, so don't worry about that. Why ASO is so important and why you should be worrying about these. To start with, if you do any sort of a paid marketing, if you're bothering to promote your app, that is on TV or magazine or through other ad networks on Facebook and so on, the first thing that you should be worrying about is ASO. And in fact, the vast majority of our clients that we work with, and we'll cover a few case studies in a few more slides, don't even bother about it. So, and we're talking about multi-million-dollar companies. So to start with, if you even bother about it or just you don't invest much time, honestly, you should. You should switch things around. 90% of your time should be working on your organic traffic. 10% remainder should be working on paid marketing, to be honest. The second stat, search traffic, that comes from iOS. From Apple, they state that 65% of downloads come through search traffic. That is someone going on the App Store and looking for a keyword, and once they input their keyword, they do search, and the game that shows up in the first 4-5 results, those are the ones that get a download. After that, most users don't bother to scroll down, so keep that in mind. It supports as well user acquisition. If you invest money doing paid marketing, you want to first think about how your user journey is like, how your icon looks like, how your screen is like, what your description says. We will cover a few more details later on. And just in general, obviously, traffic quality is way better. Organic user has a higher intent because they are in that moment in their time that they're looking to try a different game to play. So the right timing to get them engaged is, more likely than not, while they're organically downloading your game. So as I told you guys, we'll start with covering a few case studies. The first one, that's actually one of our first clients ever. It's another Spanish game developer, Digital Legends. Their game is The Respawnables. So when we start working with them, these were the screens and the icons that they had. It's nothing too bad, nothing outrageous. But the truth is that after a few iterations, we got these as that. Actually, these are not carbon. If you check them right now, they are different because we keep improving those. But you can see here, the one over there, after a few iterations, we got an increase on 39% daily downloads. That is, I'm going to go back to the previous slide. That's what we had when we started working with them. That's what we got at some point, working with them. Through these changes, we increased their daily downloads by 39% only with that icon change. In other words, out of 100 installs, they increased 39 more installs thanks to that change. So if you already have someone within your team that does art, you definitely do want to invest some time doing A/B testing. We will cover more details later on, don't worry about it. This slide is to show you guys that the order on the screens does matter. Literally, it's just getting the screen that we have, the screen grabs that we have on iOS and Google Play, changing the order. It proven that the different order might increase the daily organic downloads. So if you already did the job to try different iterations, you might as well just try the order, see what happens. Worst case scenario, might decrease the organic downloads, wait a few days, change them again. Best case scenario, 7% increase on daily downloads. Hey, that's more downloads that you get for free. This is the results that we achieved on iOS. You will notice in orange is the number of installs. They go up and down. There's a really specific reason for that. Friday, Saturday, Sundays, when people have free time, they're more likely to download a game. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, people are working, they're busy with their lives, they don't download the games. So that's why it just goes up and down. So just keep in mind, organic traffic is not paid marketing. Paid marketing, you set a cap, you pay 100 installs per day, and you get 100 installs per day. It's a line, straight line. Organic traffic, it goes up and down. What really matters is that your benchmark, that is where your minimum is staying at, is somewhat, now you're hearing me better. It's somewhat, it stays as a benchmark and you don't lose that number of organic downloads. As far as it goes up, there's a positive trend. You're doing a good job on organic traffic. That being said, and you will see in a few more case studies later on, things might go lower down a little bit. Now, that's for iOS. I'm going to show you now for Google Play. Main difference here you will see is that we have many more yellow lines. These yellow lines are iterations. That is how often we perform an update. And you might wonder, Enric, why we have these many more iterations on Google Play, many more yellow lines, than we do on iOS? Well, there's a really simple reason. Google Play has what is called Google Experiments that allows you to perform changes on your Google Play Store without actually having to update your app. So basically, what we tend to do at Lab Cave is to perform some tests first on Google Play. We see what happens. If we have a positive trend and we see good results, we just perform an update afterwards on iOS. So again, we first perform the iterations on Google Play, hence the yellow lines. Once we see good results, we apply those on iOS. Now, these are our overall results. With this client, we achieved, after a year, over an increase on 6 million organic downloads. To put things in perspective, 6 million organic downloads on paid marketing, just do an average of, let's say, $2 per acquired user. That is equal to $12 million. By no means this client paid us $12 million. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here right now because, we're probably already retired. So my point being that if you invest just the time that you invest probably in paid marketing on doing organic traffic, you're going to get way better results and way better return of your investment. Now I'm going to show you another case study. That's for MBA from the bench, another Spanish developer that we work with, one of the clients that we start working with. And that's before. We're going to follow this. It follows the same slides that we showcased with the respondables. That's before. That's afterwards. Again, before and afterwards, a few iterations, we increased daily downloads by 30%, increase on 30%. This is not just with this change. This is several iterations. That doesn't mean that we change that and right away we got an increase on 30%. You need to understand, you need to apply several changes. If you see a positive trend, just keep that as a good result and move forward. Moving on, for the results, testing different screens. Now, results on iOS, as you might recall from what we discussed just now, the iterations are the yellow lines. We see a positive trend. Benchmark, keeps going up. That's a good sign. Google Play, positive trend as well. Many more iterations because we use Google experiments. Good results. After 6 months, we achieved over 300,000 more organic downloads. Again, do the quick math. Multiply by $2 per cost per install. That's equal to over $500,000 on paid marketing. By no means we charge this client this much, so just keep that in mind. Now, a few more quick case studies to show you guys that what I'm going to teach you today is not, I'm not making this up. There's actually real results, and that happens to other game developers. It could be you as well. This is for another game from the bench, football or soccer game, where we're talking to you guys about the positive trend. You see this blue line goes up. That's a really good sign. Have a happy client because we are improving their organic downloads. But as well, notice that their number of visits increase as well. They're improving their viewability. Why? Because the keywords that they use are more relevant. They are more likely to get a user who actually finds their app through specific keywords. That's called keyword research. Don't worry, we'll cover a few more details about this in a couple more slides. Lords Mobile from IGG. You might probably know I Got Games IGG. You will notice here an interesting trend. The blue lines have a dramatic spikes. There's a specific reason for that. It's called a featuring. When Google Play or iOS or Apple decides to feature the game, that's what happens. Obviously, the orange line, which is the number of installs, it's quite small compared to the number of visits. Still, you will see that there is a huge increase once you get a featuring. Nevertheless, to say, if you improve your app store, if you improve your viewability, if you're more likely to get more downloads, it's more likely that Apple and Google will notice your game. And therefore, things like these might not be outside your realm. Everyone thinks that could be something just for the biggest developers. That's not the case. You can actually achieve that as well. It requires time from your team doing ASO, amongst other things. Other case studies, that's for Zombie Frontier from FT Games. You see as well, positive trend. Overall, interesting that we see here is that the conversion rate decreases while the blue line, the visit, increases. That's normal. It's really hard to maintain a constant conversion rate. That is how likely it's for someone to download your app while they visit your app page if you achieve more visits. The more visits you have, the lower your conversion rate that is. That's normal. As far as you maintain a benchmark, that's good. Overall, just keep in mind, you want to see a positive trend. You see this dotted blue line. As far as it goes up, that's a good sign you're achieving good results. Now, I told you guys a few more slides before that there are a few key differences between iOS and Apple and Google Play. These are some of them. It's no secret, but it's always good to cover those. My take on this is that on Google Play, you will see here the short description, whereas on App Store we have a cross. What we mean with this is that on Google Play accounts for keyword relevance, like on SEO, like search engine optimization. That is, on a website, how many times a keyword shows up, how relevant is a keyword for your description. The same applies in Google Play. On iOS, the App Store, that does not apply. It affects your conversion rate because someone might read your description and think, oh, I like what it says here, I will download the game, but it has no effect on Apple. There is no effect whatsoever on what your description says in terms of your keyword. Another interesting thing is, for instance, the bundle that you see guys there, bundle. When you are developing the game, you can choose the bundle ID, the name that you have on when you're developing the app. On that bundle, you can include some keywords, like one keyword dot another keyword dot your developer name. That helps tremendously to run your app or your game on Google Play and on iOS. Now, of all the whole deck that I covered today, that I'm covering, that's probably the most interesting slide. So if you weren't paying attention, now is the time to pay attention. We're gonna cover, in a bit more details, every single of these bullet points, just to have a better understanding of what we're trying to say here. in hopes that you can guys improve as well your organic traffic. The first one is keyword analysis. What you should do there is analyze what your competitors are doing, which keywords they're using. Once you figure that out, you might want to apply those. But as well, try to think outside the box. What your competitors might be doing might not be the right thing for your game. So that comes to thinking outside the box. You might want to use several lower volume keywords, put them together. You might have a long tail keyword that might bring you better results. You will see at the bottom we have rating and reviews. We see an interesting trend there. If you have several reviews on your title, just check what your customers or users say about your game. They might be using several keywords to identify your game that you never thought of before. If you see that many users refer to your game with a specific keyword, it's quite likely that other users might look for that specific keyword to find your game. So you might want to use those keywords on your game, thinking outside the box of just getting a better understanding of how other users find your game or what they think about your title. On the app title, we see many of our clients and other game developers that they don't use the full space that they have available. On iOS, you have 30 characters. On Google Play, you have 50. Use them in full. You might have your game title, and then you can include a few keywords. That helps to rank you higher for those specific keywords. Localize. If your game is only in Chinese and you want to maybe get just a few more downloads outside China, try to localize it outside, in English, for instance, and just make it available outside China. It doesn't really matter if you think it's going to be appealing or not to the West, to the Western, or to the West. Just go for it. Worst case scenario, you might get those extra organic downloads that's going to help you in the long term. Think as well that what might work in China or what might work in Japan or what might work in Russia might not work in Spain or will not work in France. That's what we talk about localization as well. You need to think that what applies in China or in Japan, where we see, for instance, really crowded screens, a lot of characters put together, in Spain might not work as well. That's where it comes, the A/B testing. You want to test your visuals, you want to test your icon, you want to do several iterations on what you're showcasing on the App Store and Google Play. As I mentioned to you guys before, on Google Play you can use Google Experiments. On iOS, there is no free tool for you guys to use, so you have to rely on a third-party tool. There are tools like Split Metrics, for instance, that you can just use to just do that A/B testing and see what brings you a highest conversion rate. Just go use those insights on your benefit and apply those changes. Use holidays and festivities. Christmas is coming. There was Halloween happen, so on and so forth. You can use emojis. You can just try to use that on your benefit. It's a quick title change. Just add like a Santa Claus emoji or a snowflake emoji. It might help you guys to improve your conversion rate because the user thinks, oh, that's been updated lately. In fact, you maybe not didn't update your app for the last 3 months, but the fact that you showcase a snowflake and Christmas is coming or it's already winter time, that's already prompts something has been done already closer to what the user thinks about the right time and the right settings. So that might help you guys, and it's a really quick change. Update your app often. You have a chance. You don't need to showcase many things on the update. You can just say bugs fixed or new features add and so on, and that's seen as a good thing on the App Store and Google Play. And the last one, probably backlinks. That only applies on Google Play. Going back again to search engine optimization, SEO, same applies on Google Play. If you have URLs that are pointing out to your app Google Play page, that's going to help you guys to rank higher. Now, on our side, that's how we do it at Lab Cave. Not that you need that in order to successfully improve your store ranking, but we have our own ASO bot that help us tremendously to analyze the existing trends on keywords. We analyze over 500,000 keywords across 12 different countries, and we apply a value to each keyword. So we know, we have a limited space for the keywords, so we know which ones we should be using for each specific game. By the way, on your keyword space, on your keyword field, don't use any spaces. Many of our clients, they have a keyword, space, comma, or so on. You don't need to do that. You can just separate keywords with commas. That works fine. That might save you a few pressure spaces. You can just add another keyword there. We are on LabCave. We are offering a full ASO service. Some of our clients require us to help, want us to just work on their keyword research analysis. Other clients want us to help on their conversion rate optimization and so forth. My point with this slide is that, and we covered that on the previous slide, you want to really cover every single thing here. Otherwise, it's unlikely that you will achieve good results doing ASO. Now that you have this really good traffic and you improve your organic traffic, it's time for you guys to monetize it better or to get higher revenue. What we're seeing as well is that many of our existing clients, they are not doing a great job monetizing their existing traffic. We're going to cover really quick couple more slides on what we think you could guys do better or apply some of these insights to actually get more revenue from this new traffic that you guys achieve through ASO. So I'm going to just jump because I'm aware I'm running out of time. Basically, from our side, this is an unbiased opinion. We don't get paid by these guys. But if you don't work with any of these guys, you might want to drop them an email and talk to them and see if they can offer you guys a higher eCPM for some specific geos. What we're seeing is that a lot of our friends and other game developers take as a given what rates are given by mediation tools and so on. The truth is that if you might just send an email to a couple of these guys, you might actually get a more money from your impressions. So, there is an SDK implementation and so on at the back end of these, but it starts with just sending an email to one of these guys. So just with this slide, just trying to give you guys, some guide on who you would potentially talk to in terms of trying to improve further your revenue through your new acquired organic traffic. Now, since you guys have been sitting here and paying a lot of attention, we'd like to offer you guys a free audit. You have my email there. Actually, I'm going to be sitting downstairs as well later on. But if you have a game and you're achieving at least 300 downloads per day organically, feel free to send us an email. You can send me, again, you have my email over there. And then our team is going to perform you guys an audit. It's a pretty extensive audit. It's about 20 hours of time from our side, but it's going to give you better understanding of what we think you could guys do better in terms of ASO.
So do you think that what you said might in some way be applied, let's say, on Steam for PC games?
That's a really good question. I'm not going to lie to you. I have absolutely no idea how Steam applies on SEO. My thoughts will tell me that what we cover here does definitely apply for App Store. Steam, you can consider a store within PC. But my gut feeling tells me that a few of these insights could as well apply on SEO, which is more likely where most of your traffic is going to come from, because Steam is PC-based, whereas what we covered here is mobile-based. So that's the difference. But that being said, backlinks, description, and so on still apply the same rules. Absolutely.